Where can you find 6,000 local businesses with just one click? EverythingMidmo.com.
Hello, welcome back to the part 2 of the Behind the Stripes webcast, Missouri versus Furman. We're going to do something a little different today. Wheel of Furman. We're here to present you with all you ever would want to know about Furman University, home of the Paladins.
That's correct.
All right, we're going to get right to it. Round 1. We have what's the worst thing that could happen? Paladin potluck. And FCS follies. Here we go. Paladin potluck.
Good one.
Dave, who is Furman's most famous alumnus?
Some good choices here. A lot of female golfers, a couple soccer players. I'm going to go with former Saturday Night Live cast member Victoria Jackson, who went to Furman, I believe, on a gymnastics scholarship.
That's pretty good, but I'm going to go with Herman Lay, the forefather of Lay's potato chips. Unless someone from Mizzou invented dip, Herman Lay gets, I think he wins that matchup.
All right, you say so.
Round 2. FCS follies. Dave, should Football Bowl Subdivision teams be allowed to play Football Championship Subdivision teams? For those of you, they've changed the name. It used to be Division I and Division I AA. Now it's Football Bowl Subdivision, Football Championship Subdivision.
Well, other than playing game shows like this, these kind of matchups don't generate a whole lot of excitement, kind of a down week on the schedule. But you know, as long as the current system stays the way that it is, and as long as teams are asking so much money for these appearance fees, teams that are, I'm talking about the non-BCS teams, like a Bowling Green or a Miami of Ohio, somebody from the MAC or Mountain West, these teams are asking so much money to come and play at your stadium, unless you want to do a home-and-home series, that schools like Missouri that aren't necessarily the cash cows of college football, they have to schedule these games just because they don't want to be traveling all over the country to go to a non-BCS team. They don't want to pay millions of dollars to one of those schools to come play at their place for one game only. So really you're left with the option of having to play one of these schools, paying a few $100,000 to get them there and to beat up on them and basically to add one win to your total. So I think it's more a product of the system and just how much money, how much leverage some of the other schools, the non-BCS schools, are forcing on the system the way it is right now.
This is sort of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine about the way college football has gone, which is it used to be people used to make fun of Bill Snyder for the way he's scheduled, and now everybody is Bill Snyder, and it's the rare ones that actually go out and play a competitive non-conference schedule who are the exceptions. I think you could almost legislate this, not say you can't play these teams, but almost make it to where it's not worth your while to play them, and I think you could do it this way. Make the BCS formula far more weighted in terms of strength of schedule. And to do that, I'm saying, let's say a non-conference game, you get 1 point for a win, you get -1 for a loss. Now, if you play a BCS conference team, you get to add a point. If you play a non-BCS bowl division team, you get no points. And if you play a football championship subdivision team, you get -1 point. So the upshot would be if Missouri beats Illinois, that's worth 2 points. If they beat Furman, it's worth 0 points. If they lose to Furman, it's -2 points. So the upshot would be, okay, if you go out and lose to Illinois, that's worth the same as beating Furman in terms of strength of schedule. Then I think everyone would say, well, we got nothing to lose by playing a few of these tougher games against more competitive teams. And I think the fans win because now you're watching games that you care about. And really in the month of September, it's gotten to the point where there's maybe one game a week that people care about. And it's not good for the health of the sport long term.
No,
if you look at what's happening to college basketball, nobody pays a bit of attention until about February. And I think, you think football is bulletproof, but don't be so sure.
Right. Some of these games are turning out to be like NFL preseason games, except they mean a lot. If you lose one of these, it's disastrous, even though to watch it, the product's not that entertaining always.
Agreed. All right. Final spin. I hope I land on what's the worst thing that could happen because we don't have any other questions.
No whammies. Let's go.
Luckily, I landed on it.
All right.
What's the worst thing that can happen? All right, Dave. Missouri has never lost to a football championship subdivision / Division I AA team.
It's a mouthful.
And they played maybe 7. I can't remember. They didn't really start playing until back in the early 90s, I believe, when they played Marshall, which at that time was. Let's say they do lose, though. God forbid Missouri would lose to a team like this. But if they do, let's say that. Where would that rank on the Missouri's history as far as the worst upset loss?
Well, I think it would be number 1 on the list, no doubt about it. But if you want to go into what would number 2 be after that, I go back to that Troy game on the road. Even though it was a road game in 2004, Troy had some good players. They had DeMarcus Ware on that team. The year before, they had Osi Umenyiora. Some great talent has come through that program. But that season, everything that was expected of Missouri, it was a Thursday night game, high point spread. Missouri goes on the road, falls flat, and loses to Troy. And if anything, it kind of started the downward spiral of that season. So I can't get my mind off that game. There are other games in the 80s when Missouri wasn't very good but lost to bad programs. Maybe even Larry Smith's first game against Tulsa here in Columbia. That was a downer. But I can't get off that Troy game.
Yeah, that was probably the worst I saw with my own eyes. I think if I were to go back, though, as far as, maybe the most, I don't know if you'd call it the biggest upset, but maybe the most disappointing would be, I'm going to go 1976. Missouri ranked 19th in the country, last game of the year at home against the Kansas team, which was dead last in the Big 8. Kansas not only wins, 41-14.
Ooh, that's a bad one. Before my time, but
painful.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps up yet another edition of the Webcast. Tune in next week where we'll talk a little bit about the Furman game and look forward to Nevada.